Special meeting of the Liquor Control Commission is now called to order. Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brady?
Here.
Commissioner Hein?
Here.
Commissioner Argyris?
Here.
Commissioner Here?
Here.
Commissioner Lang?
Here.
Commissioner Vogel?
Here.
Chairperson Abrascato?
Here. Approval of the minutes from the special meeting of September 4th.
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Argyris,
Second.
by Commissioner Lang. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Hein?
Yes.
Commissioner Argyris?
Yes.
Commissioner Here?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Chairperson Abrascato?
Yes.
In consideration of a Class A liquor license for Twin Restaurant Wheeling, LLC, DBA Twin Peaks Restaurant at 781 North Milwaukee Avenue.
Before we proceed, I will not be participating in conversation, nor will I be voting, because the establishment that I work for, even though it's on the commercial side, is something that I work for that establishment, so therefore I will not be voting or discussing the fact. Do we have any questions?
So move.
Second. Can we?
And I have to give that to Mr. Ferrillo
For the
for the five.
Thank you, Commissioner Abrascato. For the approval of the Class A liquor license, I'd ask that the motion include 5 conditions. That the approval be conditioned upon the closure of the sale of the property to Twin Restaurant Wheeling LLC or its assignee, the provision of a signed lease agreement if applicable, the satisfactory criminal background checks results for all responsible personnel, including the manager of the establishment, the provision to the Village of Bassett certificates for all supervisory personnel, and a minimum, and the adoption by the Board of Trustees of an ordinance creating a new Class A liquor license for the new establishment.
Mr. Furlow, why isn't this on there prior to us voting on it?
The motion?
Well, I have a document in front of me. Why wouldn't these conditions be part of it?
It actually, it's in
It's in.
the memorandum, the staff memorandum.
Yeah, I understand that, but
That's where we
Okay.
put the conditions
Okay.
typically. It's unlike a plan commission report and recommendation. There really is no other place to include these types of conditions.
for the record, they got to be stated even though the resolution itself has it?
They should be part of the motion. The approval of this license is conditioned upon the 5 conditions read.
Okay. My motion stands with the conditions.
Motion was made by Commissioner Argyris and seconded by
With the condition.
Commissioner Here. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Hein?
Yes.
Commissioner Argyris?
Yes.
Commissioner Here?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Chairperson Abrascato? You have to say abstain.
Abstain. And Mr. Fondilos has something to add to this.
Thank you. As we always do, we read into record what a Class A license is. Class A licenses shall authorize the retail sale of alcoholic liquor in restaurants for consumption on the premises and by the package for consumption off premises, subject to the following conditions and qualifications. A Class A licensed premises must provide a minimum table seating capacity in the dining area of 75 persons, exclusive of all bar stool and bar area tables or seats. Must be operated primarily as a sit-down restaurant, offering its patrons full and complete meals prepared on the premises, including a full dinner menu, and must serve and take orders for meals until no earlier than 2 hours prior to the actual closing of the establishment on any day. Please note that in addition to the conditions and qualifications specific to this license class, all Wheeling liquor license holders must comply with all provisions of the Wheeling Municipal Code and are responsible for being familiar with those provisions.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
So move.
Motion made by Commissioner Hein,
Second.
second by Commissioner Brady. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Brady?
Yes.
Commissioner Hein?
Yes.
Commissioner Argyris?
Yes.
Commissioner Here?
Yes.
Commissioner Lang?
Yes.
Commissioner Vogel?
Yes.
Chairperson Abrascato?
Yes. We will now have the regular meeting. of the Board of Trustees. Please call to order. Roll call.
Trustee Brady?
Here.
Trustee Hein?
Here.
Trustee Argyris?
Here.
Trustee Here?
Here.
Trustee Lang?
Here.
Trustee Vogel?
Here.
President Abiscato?
Here. Approval of the minutes from the regular meeting
So
of
moved.
August.
So moved.
May I? August 20th.
So moved.
Motion made by Trustee Brady,
Second.
second by Trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes. We have approval of the minutes of the special workshop meeting of August 30th, 2012.
Motion to approve, but a question real quick to the attorney.
Yes,
Does the
question?
location of where the meeting was located need to be on the minutes?
Yes, it should stay where,
So for the record, if you can put down the Public Works Department, please?
Okay.
Thank you.
Second.
thank you.
Motion made with the correction by Trustee Agiris, second by Trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes. Mr. Fondilis, any changes to the agenda?
No, Madam President.
There being no changes to the agenda, no proclamations, appointments, any citizens' concerns and comments?
No, Madam President.
Staff report, Mr. Fondilis.
Thank you. I'm happy to report that the Heritage Park project has begun. As of last week, the Village of Wheeling and the Metropolitan Water Reclamation District came to terms on the outstanding permit issue, and we'll be starting the project in earnest starting next week. You can see that the fence has already gone up, and a number of other construction staging items are in motion, and we expect that trucks will start entering and exiting the premises starting next week. Just so that everyone is aware, the only effect that will have if you are a user of the Park District is that the Aquatic Center parking lot will be closed and used as a staging area for the project. But since the Aquatic Center is closed for the season anyway, that shouldn't affect anyone's use of the Park District recreational facility. So you can still park where you always have. So certainly good news.
Thank you. And Assistant Public Works Director Bezier, Documentation Destruction Day.
Thank you. A reminder for residents, the Village of Wheeling is hosting a one-day document destruction event for residents on Saturday, September 29. The event will take place at the Public Works Department located at 77 West Hints Road from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. rain or shine. There's no cost to residents for this event. Residents may bring medical forms, bank statements, personal files, retired tax records, and receipts for cross-shredding. There's a limit of 6 banker-sized boxes or grocery bags per vehicle. Paper clips and staples do not need to be removed, but binders do. If residents have any questions, they may contact the Public Works Department directly at 847-279-6903. Thank you.
And would you repeat the phone number one more time for them?
847-279-6903.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Consent agenda?
All items listed on the consent agenda are considered to be routine by the village board and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a board member or citizen so requests, in which event the item will be removed from the general order of business and considered after all other agenda items.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Trustee Agiris, second by Trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes. We have no old business.
New business. 13A, 2 ordinances regarding a restaurant at 781 North Milwaukee Avenue. The 13A1 ordinance granting a special use and associated site plan and appearance approval to operate a restaurant at 781 North Milwaukee Avenue, docket number 2012-14A.
As I stated, I will not be discussing, nor will I be voting on both of the ordinances. Do you have any questions? Mr. Janik, do you have anything to present?
Thank you, Madam President. All I have tonight is to generally explain the restaurant. The restaurant proposal is moving into an existing structure that was used as a restaurant. It's been closed for approximately a year now. They need to come back for special use because the special use legislation has lapsed. Generally speaking, the restaurant will be used almost exactly the same as it was previously. There are a few less seats, approximately, I think it's 65 less seats. So there won't be any effect on existing parking or any legislation associated with that. The architecture on the outside will not be altered. There is a sign variation attached to this proposal. I think the petitioner can speak more detail than that if you'd like. The interior of the building, there will be some improvements made to the interior, mostly with the bathroom and the bar area. But generally speaking, for instance, the kitchen will stay almost exactly the same. Other than that, the petitioners are here for any questions.
Do we have any questions? If so, if the petitioner would take the microphone, please, if there are any questions.
Madam President.
Go ahead.
Do you have a question?
I don't know who was.
Trustee Brady?
I don't, hi, want to give your name?
Sure. My name is Matt Norton. I'm an attorney with Holland and Knight. I represent Twin Wheeling Restaurant.
Mr. Norton, I noticed on the Plan Commission minutes, you are proposing to restore the landscaping and trim it back into a reasonable, architectural scene there. But I don't know if you can answer this or Public Works or Community Development. But on the north side of your building, it's out of control, and you only own about 2 feet of that. What about the rest of that ditch area there, where just some of these weeds and that are like going 12 feet high? Are we going to do anything with that? Are we going to do anything with that? Are you doing anything with that? It looks so unsightly over there.
Yeah, right now we don't own any of it. We're under contract to purchase the property.
I know.
And I do know that we've committed, and at the Plan Commission committed to bring the property back into compliance with the approved landscape plans. And if that's...
Well, this isn't your property, that's what I'm saying. This is part of the drainage overflow creek or whatever you have, it's just north of you, that runs north of you. And it is overgrown. And if it's ours, then maybe we should get, I don't know, can we get out there and trim it? Or somebody's got to trim it, because, you're going to open up this nice business and the building is covered with these weeds,
Right.
I'll check into it, find out exactly whose property it is. If it's owned by the shopping, or by the owner of the center itself, it's part of the common property. I'll have them. It'll be a property maintenance issue, and it's possible it's our responsibility. And we'll check into it.
Okay.
There are, I can add to that, there's a declaration, and Mr. Norman probably knows this, covenants that apply to the whole center. All of the owners of land participate in maintenance of the common areas. So once they close on the property, I'm sure they're going to step in and pursue whatever remedies there are available to help clean this property up. If there are ordinance violations related to overgrown landscape, we'll certainly look at that too.
Thank you, because
Sure.
it'd be a shame to have this new business open up and not look spectacular on all four sides.
We agree.
Thank you.
Madam President?
Yes, Trustee Agiris.
Were you done, Ken? I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yes, he's done.
No, I was just, for those who don't know what we're talking about, this is the old Claim Jumper site, and maybe you guys want to introduce the type of business you're coming in. Town, I understand it's the first one in Illinois or this area.
That's correct. And I want to introduce the other gentleman with me here this evening. Twin Restaurant Wheeling is an affiliated company with Front Burner Restaurant Group out of Texas. And I have some executives from Front Burner here tonight. Randy DeWitt is the CEO of Front Burner. John Gessner is the Vice President and General Counsel of Front Burner. I'll let these guys speak if I say the wrong thing, but I know they're pleased to be here. This is their first presence in the Chicago area. They picked this spot in Wheeling. This is the best spot that they saw. It's in a great location. It's actually it's a great building. The developer spent a lot of money on this building, and the building's holding up nice. The exterior is beautiful. We don't plan to do any work really to the exterior other than the signs. There will be interior work, but it's a great building and a great location. And I know they're excited to move into Restaurant Row in Wheeling.
What's your time frame on opening the store?
We have been hoping for a November 12 opening. To start on construction in November.
November, okay.
March 13, yeah.
Okay. Good luck, fellas, thanks.
Thank you.
They did Cooper Hawk.
I'll make a motion to approve if no other questions.
Motion made by trustee Brady, second by trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Hill?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Abstain.
Ordinance 1382, granting variations from Title 21 Signs of the Wheeling Municipal Code relating to wall sign requirements, 781 North Milwaukee Avenue, docket number 2012-14B.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Agiris, second by trustee Hein. I'm sorry, trustee Here. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Hill?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
I abstain. We look forward to the opening.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 13B, ordinance granting special use approval for specialty school for tutoring services, 581 North Wolf Road, docket number 2012-13.
Mr. Janik.
Thank you. This concerns an existing business on North Wolf Road.
I'm sorry. Start over again. Thank you. This involves a business on North Wolf Road. Currently, well, the petitioner is not here tonight. I know she was intending on making it here. If you want to continue this until she gets here, I'm sure she'll be here somewhere around 7 o'clock. Otherwise, it's an existing business. She's expanding her business to start a school. There's no variations attached to this. It requires a special use. It's for a school for small children. And that's the description.
Motion to table?
Motion to table, yes. Motion to table by trustee Agiris,
Second.
second by trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Hill?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato.
Motion to table has passed, yes.
Item 13C, discussion regarding concept presentation for major site plan and appearance review, Tin Goose Garage, Hangar 18, 1062 South Milwaukee Avenue.
Mr. Janik?
Thank you. This discussion concerns a proposal to put another hangar with office space on Tower Road. I believe it's Tower Road. It would leave, I believe, it would leave another space for another hangar on the north side of Tower Road. This hangar, there's some elevations, I think, attached to this. The hangar would involve almost kind of a typical size of a medium hangar for the airport. The office space is approximately 8,000 square feet along the front, similar to another hangar that was recently built along Tower Road. It would be a privately owned hangar.
Do we have any questions? If we have questions, we have Mr. Palicki is here this evening. You want to come to the podium, please? Thank you, and then state your name, address for the record, please.
Village President, Village Trustees, staff. My name's Al Palicki. I'm at 653 Hastings Road. That's where my home is. I work here at Pal Walker Chicago Executive Airport, and we're looking here to be for your approval to be granted an opportunity to build at the airport, as Mark had just stated.
Question?
I just got one. You had made a presentation at the airport board last month, and I'm glad you took some of the comments that came out of that meeting regarding some of the landscaping berming along Milwaukee Avenue and do some nice beautification before the Plan Commission made sure you did that anyway. So I was giving you a heads up on that. But this is a great example of being at certain places at the right time and passing out cards and talking business, whether it be at the MBAA or what, and we're having fine folks like Mark Costas and Al over at Signature, and bringing people from other airports into the airport that we own, and giving them the opportunity to spend money in our town, spend money at that airport to bring their operations over there. And I think this has been a good example of that, networking and working together. So, you know, people say, oh, you guys go on these conventions, you do that, but you know what? It really is networking. And that's where we started a year ago. And today, they're coming before the Plan Commission and spending a lot of money on bringing a nice facility to complement that airport. So I thank you guys for that, and the folks, fine folks over at Signature for making that happen as well. So,
Appreciate it.
no problem.
Trustee Lang, do you have a question or a statement?
I would like to say that I like the concept of it, that you have it looking not like a typical airport hangar. So I hope you really can pull that off. It has a different look from what we're used to, and so far so good.
It's aesthetically pleasing. That's what our goal was here. It's right off the road, and it should be that way. This is our designer, developer, Tori Schultz, and the building owner, Jim Bowler.
Thank you. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Just a discussion.
Oh, this is just discussion, so we don't have a
So you
motion.
got a blessing.
So we just bless you and take care of your cold.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. You see how fast we want to go.
Item 13D, resolution authorizing the village manager to execute a demolition contract with Impactor P&P Incorporated for removable of principal buildings and improvements at 115, 119 South Milwaukee Avenue.
Mr. Fondilas.
Thank you, Madam President. We had previously discussed the demolition of the two buildings at the subject address, one that is owned by the Village of Wheeling, one that is not. I would just like to point out for the board as we move forward that this is an approval of the contract, of a contract to demolish both buildings. However, the bid was written and accepted in a way that will allow us to demo either one of those two buildings individually or both buildings at the same time. As you know, we are in discussions with the other owner of the 119 building and hope to come back to the board with some discussion items as far as the future development of those two sites collectively. While we are doing that, we wanted to get the ball rolling so that we are able to let the contract and get those buildings torn down as quickly as possible. So staff did meet with the owner of the 119 building last week and hope to have something to the board for consideration in the very near future. In the meantime, we wanted to get this contract approved, and again, it does allow us to proceed in any way that we need to pending the results of those conversations and approval by the board. So this is just a proactive move to be ready to go as soon as our development discussions have concluded.
Thank you. Trustee Hine, do you have any questions?
Yes, I do. Thank you. 115 South Milwaukee Avenue is one of our oldest buildings in the community. The Wheeling Meat Market was opened there in 1906. And it also was the home of Mr. Hans Schmidt, who was the mayor of the village of Wheeling for a long time, and an old name in Wheeling. And I've been looking at that building for a long, long time. I really know the construction of that because one of our businesses was in that building for about 7 or 8 years. So I would like to make a suggestion that we only take down 119 South Milwaukee Avenue, which is right next door, and try to preserve this building. The Wheeling Historical Society has not taken on an endeavor like this in a long time, other than the stuff that we have over at the park on Wolf Road. But I think this is one of the buildings, and there's only probably two more on Milwaukee Avenue, which was all of Wheeling at that time, that we should preserve. I have talked to a number of people in town, and so far I've got $45,000 in commitments to any type of preservation of that building in its existing stage and its location. I would like the board tonight to consider that we only allow the 119 building to come down, given the opportunity to preserve it and see if it can be preserved and start the process immediately, if we can work with the Wheeling Historical Society and get this thing going, I think it would be a real benefit to our community. It's a sound structure. It's totally brick, and it's got a lot of heritage. And if you go to your Wheeling Through the Years book on page 88, it'll give you a whole synopsis of it. So I think it's one thing that we should be looking at.
Mr. Ferrillo had something, and then Trustee Lane.
I was actually going to ask Attorney Ferrillo that building 115 is owned by the Village of Wheeling, and it was purchased, if memory serves, with TIF funds?
It was purchased with TIF funds. The reestablishment or establishment of a historical society at that site, I'd have to research this, but I do not believe would qualify as a TIF eligible expense, which would only mean that, and you certainly can do that, we would have to pay the TIF back for the purchase price of the property. The village would have to underwrite that expense. It's not a development that would qualify for use of TIF funds. And I'd research it further, but that's one of my concerns that I want you to know about as I sit here today.
Well, I think what I'm doing now, Attorney Ferrillo, is I'm trying to prevent the wrecking ball from hitting it so that we don't make a mistake and it's gone. Okay?
Well, I understand
a few more months or whatever. We're going into the winter time. Let's put, if we can put a plan together and see what we come up with. If not, we'll take it down.
Sure.
But we're going to try to preserve that building.
Trustee Lane.
And for the record, that's the red brick building?
Yes. 115.
Trustee Brady.
We're going to issue a contract to tear down both buildings, but we don't know if we're going to tear down both buildings. How do we do that?
It's a contract that will allow us to tear down both buildings if we choose. As you know, the owner of the 119 building has been purchased into that area specifically in partnership with the village in order to redevelop those two sites together. He sent us a letter in the past couple of weeks. We met with him last week and began negotiations for what staff believes can be an amicable solution to getting that site, and by that site I mean both of them, developed, which has always been the plan. The reason that the contract is written the way it is and the bid is written the way it is because if we cannot come to terms with the developer, the board had made it clear that they would like to see those buildings come down. So whether we share the cost or the village incurs the cost in total, those buildings would come down. So the contract is written in a way that we can pull the trigger, as it were, in any way that that we need to, pending these final conversations.
Is that what we said, tear them both down? I don't remember. Yeah, okay. I was going to say, this guy's got to go out and buy insurance, bonds, and everything else he needs to tear both buildings down. And if we're going to go tear ours down, how can you do that? You can't.
Well, and he won't. We will not. And well, now Trustee Hine has kind of changed things a little bit because tonight was the first that we've heard the idea. But the contractor will not buy the insurance and all the necessary paperwork that he needs until we let the contract.
Okay, fine. Thank you.
Trustee Vogel.
Do you know what the amount of TIF funds were that were spent to buy that building?
Over $400,000.
Right.
4 years ago, 5 years ago.
And if we were to decide not to tear it down, the village would have to pay that TIF money back, or the Historical Society would have to come up with that funding?
Well, if the Historical Society was going to buy the building, they could pay the money back. But if the ultimate decision is a development of a historical center, as I stated, I'd have to research that that's a TIF eligible expense. If that, I don't think it is. If it's not ultimately, then the village would have to pay the TIF back for the acquisition of the funds, or the Historical Society. Somebody would. Okay. The TIF would not underwrite the development of a historical society for the village.
But it'd have to be an ordinance in order for the village to go ahead and pay that money back and hand it to the Historical Society.
It have to be, I didn't hear that.
An ordinance?
I'm not sure I understand that question.
Well, how would we go about paying the TIF back and handing it over to the Historical Society?
Well, if we transfer title, we need an ordinance to do that.
That's what I meant.
So,
Okay.
yes, that'd be an ordinance. And if we're going to pay funds, that would be on your approval of, the warrant list as well. It would take official action, I guess, if
Right, okay.
that answers your question.
Thank you.
Trustee Lang.
Thank you. I certainly didn't expect this to happen tonight either, but I'm willing to give it a few months. It's been sitting there for this long. At least look into it, and if the Historical Society can do something within a reasonable amount of time. I mean, let's not extend it for months and months, but about maybe a few.
I have no
Just
problems.
my opinion.
I have no problems with that either, but a reasonable time. You say 60 days? Or how many days?
We're going to need 90 days to come back with a plan.
How long?
90 days.
And this bid would expire after how many days?
We would have to rebid it.
And what's the
Right.
expiration of the current bid on it?
You want to make it 60 days? That's fine.
What's the current expiration of the current bid? By law, what is it, 60 days? You got to
It
exercise the bid?
depends on the bid packet. I don't see the expiration in here. I don't have all the full bid packet with me, so we'd have to get back.
Mr. Janik is saying 60 days.
I think it is too. So you want a motion to table? That's what you need.
Yes.
Motion to
Motion
table,
to
and
table.
it's come up with some kind of preliminary plan, Mr. Hang. I mean, within the next 30 days or something. I mean, you should know something within 30 days. I'm not saying take full action, but some kind of letter of intent or something. So that's my motion to table within 30
Motion
days.
to table by trustee Adjuris. Second. Second by trustee Brady. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Evascado?
Yes.
Item 13E has two resolutions authorizing acceptance of National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Illinois Department of Transportation grant awards. 13E1, resolution authorizing acceptance of a National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Illinois Department of Transportation grant award, Sustained Traffic Enforcement Program, grant through federal fiscal year 2013.
So move.
Second.
Motion made by trustee Vogel, second by
First by Dean.
Dean.
trustee.
Dave.
Oh,
Dean and
I'm
Dave.
sorry. Motion made by trustee Adjuris, second by trustee Vogel. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Evascado?
Yes.
Item 13AB, resolution authorizing acceptance of a National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Illinois Department of Transportation grant award, child passenger safety grant through federal fiscal year 2013.
So move.
Motion made by trustee Adjuris, second by trustee Heer. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Heer?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Evascado?
Yes. We have for official communications several things this evening. Number one, a letter from Mr. Rule, or an email. The Chicago Executive Airport Board of Directors has suggested that a joint meeting may not be necessary at this time, which is October 17th, unless the communities have a specific item or items they want to address. If it's agreeable to both communities, Chicago Executive Airport Board of Directors would like to forego the meeting. I have spoken to the directors that we have, and they feel that there should not be a joint meeting. Mayor Hilmer and myself have spoken, and I just wanted to notify you there will not be a special meeting on October 17th, so you can adjust your schedules. That's number one. Number two, at the airport, MBA has did you have something?
What did I have?
I don't know, I'm just asking.
No.
Okay, thank you. MBA normally has a gathering. It will be in Orlando this year. Is there anyone on the board that is interested to go? If so, we will get the information to you. It's October 30th. And how long does it go for?
Till November 1st.
Till November 1st. Is there anyone that has an interest? Trustee Agiris will be going because he is our board of director on there, and he has opted to go, which he normally does, but someone else from the board would like to go. All you need to do is let me know, and I will notify Dennis about who would like to go, and he will send you all the arrangements.
Madam President?
I went to New Orleans. And the third thing, Clerk Simpson has something.
This coming Saturday?
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry, I take that back. September 28th at the Village Hall, we will have voter registration. It's the last day that you can register to vote. We will be here from 10 until noon. We'll be right down in the lobby. So if you have not registered to vote and would like to register to vote, please come in on Saturday, the 29th.
Can they also get
Yes, you can get absentee ballots at that time too. We will have them with us.
to send in for? Thank
We
you.
will have them with us.
Thank you. Trustee Agiris has something?
Thank you, Madam President. If I may, I'd like to untable docket number 2012-13 that we table tonight.
Motion.
I'm making a motion to do that.
Second.
To untable it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Untable.
That's all right.
Do we have a motion? We have a motion?
Yes, I seconded.
I made
Motion made by Trustee Agiris, second by Trustee here. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes. Mr. Janik?
Yes, no, thank you, Madam President. As I was saying, the petitioner for this business has arrived. She's the president of the company. It's an existing tutoring location, and she wants to change it into a specialty school with more students and longer hours. It's on North Wolf Road. There aren't any variations attached to it, but there is a special use attached to this. She's here tonight for any questions.
Could you please come and take the podium, please, and if we have any questions, and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening. I'm Olga Hamitronak, and the address is 581 North Wolf Road in Welling.
Do we have any questions?
So move.
Motion made by Trustee Agiris.
Second.
Second by Trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hein?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee Here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Abiscato?
Yes, and good luck to you. Thank you. Do we have approval of the bills of August 30th through
Madam
and
President?
September 12th?
I'm sorry, I would like to say a couple of things.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry.
I just have a couple of things that I'd like to bring up before the board and have the board make a decision on. As we all know, we have some rental signs and we have some properties that have been for rent for quite a long time. And these signs seem to be perpetually up now forever. And they really don't look that well. One case in point is the for rent sign that is over by the old Ace Hardware building, which is propped up against the sign over there. I understand it's a legal sign. I understand that it's able to do that. And if that's the case, I'm looking for the board to give direction to the Planning Commission to hold the necessary hearings so that we can amend that ordinance to reflect a change so that we can either put some smaller signs in or that we have some type of governance over the way and where they put them. Because it looks like we're just propping up a sign someplace and and I don't know how long it's going to be there.
Well, you really have that all over the place.
Yes,
Not just there.
I know, it's all over.
We could take a ride, I'll show you Burmajane signs all over the place.
I understand.
Propped up everywhere. When does that stop? I mean, if
Doesn't
you do it for
ever.
one, you gotta do it for all, guys. We've allowed these guys to get away with murder for a long time, these property owners.
Well, that's one of the reasons why I'm bringing it up. I'd like to have it go before the Planning Commission, which is the spot for it to go, and have the necessary hearing.
Mr. Janik, were you going to say something?
No, that can be done. The sign that we're talking about does meet our code currently, the way it's written. Whether it should be changed or not, that's really up to Planning Commission and the board. But it does right now meet the tenets of the sign code.
Mr. Janik, just so that direction is clear coming from the board, can you, and I know this is, you don't have it in front of you, but can you talk about what the code currently reads so that the board can give some direction to the Plan Commission about what specifically they're looking for?
I believe that signs for residential sales are 24 square feet, and for commercial and industrial, I believe it's 36 square feet. I believe that that's correct. And there's not a review relative to color or the size of letters on the sign. If they're within that parameter and they're the correct size, there's no review by the village.
And, President?
Trustee Vogel, and then you, Trustee
And
Brady.
there's no regulation on placement?
I'm sorry, there is placement regulations depending on how close to the property line it is and that sort of thing. There is some parameters relative to placement, yes.
Because that's really what we're talking about, is the placement of it at this point. I mean, I don't think we can restrict them to put a for rent sign out. I mean, we're be shooting ourselves in the foot if we did that, but the placement of it is, I think, is what we're talking about, correct?
You're talking about the placement, Mr. Hine?
I'm sorry?
Trustee Hine? We're asking you're specifically talking about the placement of the sign.
I'm talking about the placement, I'm talking about the amount of time that it's up. I'm also talking about the size of the sign. And I think we should look at it. Some of the signs, there should be some criteria for our retail residents that if they're going to put up a sign to notify people that they have a property for lease, that they should also have procedures in place in order to expedite the leasing of that property, i.e. Either list it with a realtor, list it with somebody to get it going or whatever. But I know for a fact that there are some signs in Wheeling that they have a sign up perpetually forever. Okay? It doesn't come down, whether they're fully leased or not. And I think it's time to take a look at them and toughen that up a little bit so that Mr. Janik and his people do have some ordinances with some teeth that we can monitor these things a little bit better.
Trustee Brady?
Thank you. About 15, 16 years ago, Plan Commission took on signs wholeheartedly. We're getting ridiculous with what we're demanding from businesses and making it very, very hard for them to do business in town here, because every time they wanted to change the color of their sign or do something, they had to come before the Plan Commission. And, you know, in an effort to streamline the process and make it a little easier for business and become a little bit more of a business-friendly community, some of these things like these for rent signs and some of the secondary signs, we took out of the ordinance and left it up to the Director of Community Development to approve. That's what was done here. These types of signs, why should every time a shopping center or a building owner has a vacancy, he's got to come before a full Plan Commission and then to the board or whatever the case, whatever the process is, to put up a for lease sign? It's ridiculous. Our Plan Commission they'll have 5 meetings a week to get it done. This was done, you know, the ordinance, the criteria is written. The approval is strictly on the shoulders of the Director of Community Development. If the sign is in the wrong location, if he doesn't like the location of it, if it's not proper, and I'm sure some wording can be putting in there, you know, that the sign should be put up in a manner to look professional or whatever the case may be. Yeah, I agree with that sign at the Advanced Auto is poorly installed. It could have been centered on that column or whatever it is that the existing sign is. There's a lot of ways it could be done. But in fact, it's not done right. And I think our ordinance gives the Director of Community Development the authority to go over there and straighten it out without the Plan Commission. Simple as that. Let's not go back to our old ways where business won't come here because every time they want to drive a nail or do something, they got to come before the Plan Commission or Village Board. That's getting a little overbearing. You know, we're going to have businesses coming. Once this economy loosens up, we're going to be inundated with businesses wanting to come here. What are we going to do then? So let's keep it the way it is and just give the Director of Community Development, if you don't something that we're doing isn't right, then let's talk to him, and he can straighten it out without the Planning Commission's involvement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Trustee Brady, I am not proposing that we change the ordinance that every sign has to go before the Planning Commission. What I'm stating is that we should have more teeth in our ordinance so that we back up our people in the Community Development Department, that they can enforce the rules. That's all I'm asking. I'm looking for them to just go and to take a look at what we have. The Planning Commission spent some time last Thursday riding around the community, taking a look at certain things, to look at what we have and to make a decision on how we're going to enforce the rules and regulations so we make it easier for the Community Development Department. And that's all I'm asking. I'm not asking for the petitioners and every sign having to come before the Planning Commission. That is not the reason for my asking that it go before the Planning Commission for a hearing.
Well,
Trustee Adjuris.
I just want to recap on that. You know, a for lease or for rent sign is not a sign that what kind of teeth can you put in it for that? If you're going to say, okay, you can only have it up for 6 months, you know, you're saying the length of time. What if it takes him a year to lease the property? So for after 6 months, he's got to take his sign down. Nobody knows it's for lease. You can't do that. I don't understand what teeth you need in an ordinance that he's got all the authority he needs to get it done. You know, now the rest of the sign codes, all right, yeah, don't play that after Sunday's or Thursday's game, please, Terry.
Calm down, Dave.
You know, let's look at it. But I don't want to go back to the old ways that made it real tough for business.
I don't either.
Well, then lay off these little signs like this here because that's what'll happen. Thank you.
Trustee Adjuris, you had something?
I was going to mention something earlier regarding the signs. You know what? It's code enforcement. I think community development, you guys do a good job. You got to use a little common sense, and I think we did that 15, 16 years ago. So we had this business-friendly mentality where you can knock on a door, get close to an owner over there, and make changes. Like, you know what I mean? Make changes. And, you know, kudos to the community development. I think a lot of times with the code enforcement. A week ago last Saturday, there was literally 48 Persian rugs for sale signs all over this area here, and good for your department, Mark, they were gone in an hour. They were gone in 1 hour. And there was, I counted 48 signs up and down Northgate, up and down Dundee Road. And that was a Saturday that you guys picked that up. So you know what, you got to use a little common sense. You got to work with business. And yeah, can you knock on that guy's door over there? Yeah, sure, he just went through the process. You know the owner's over there. Can you get him to fix a sign? I'm sure a conversation or a phone call can make that happen. It doesn't look that nice, but it's common sense. But how much more are we going to do to the Plan Commission? When we were Plan Commissioners, it was nuts. With the signs. It was driving us goofy. So that's all I had.
Trustee Heim.
Thank you. I have a laundry list, but I'm only going to take one more thing, and I'll wait for another day when it's raining. The reader board out front. I go by it quite often, and everybody else does too. And I'm watching out for those motorcycles, okay? Because I see that sign about 50,000 times, and it should be there. What I'm asking is, and we have a report from Mr. Fondelis relative to that sign, that it was put up in conjunction with the Wheeling Park District. And if we were to change anything in the direction of this policy, we must do so in conjunction with the approval of the Park District. Here's where I'm going with this. We have a lot of civic organizations in town, i.e. the Rotary, and the J.C.'s and whatever else we got going in town. We have a food pantry that we can't even advertise that we have a food pantry because it's run by the Rotary Club. I would like to sit down with the Park District or have Mr. Fondillis sit down with Jan Bukes or whatever it may be, and to change the policy so that some of these organizations then put something together where they can use this sign. I think it's people go by and they look at the sign. They look to see what's going on. And I think if they knew they had a food pantry, we probably would double the people that are going there. So that's my
A lot of
food for thought
people.
on that one.
A lot of people go to the food pantry.
I'm sorry?
A lot of people, over 100 families a week.
Yes. So if it needs a motion, I make a motion that the village manager be directed to meet with the Park District to change the policy on the sign.
Mr. Hine has made a,
Just need consensus.
consensus is what we need.
Yes.
Mr. Hine has made a consensus. Do I have a second?
I just have no problems with them doing it.
Yes.
Yes, for me.
So the consensus is to give direction to Mr. Fondillis to sit down with Ms. Bukes from the Park District with the sign that we do have out in front and see what changes can be made from what we agreed to. Is that correct?
Correct.
And can I ask, who does that work? Who
We
inputs
do.
the information? Who's we?
Our IT department does.
So somebody within the IT department.
Yes, sir.
So I think you got to come up with a system here because you can have a guy full-time changing this sign all the time.
That's correct.
So come up with a program here that maybe there's a time limit or so many
I think
things
we
that
have
you
a
do.
time limit.
We'll come back with a fully written, detailed policy that Jan and I can work on together.
Get soccer clubs, baseball, Cub Scouts, Girl Scouts. I mean, you'd be sitting there doing this every day.
Well, and I think
and I believe some of that should be community stuff, but I think you got to be within reason. So.
as Trustee Hines said, we'll keep it limited to civic organizations as opposed to opening it up to
Right.
the world.
Thank you.
That's
Do
all
we
I have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Madam President,
Do I have anything else? Trustee Fondillis, did you have something?
Well, I did have a question. I'm not sure what the direction was on Trustee Hines' suggestion for sending the lease and rental sign code language down to the Plan Commission. I'm not sure what the direction was from the board.
We didn't give any.
That puts me in a tough spot.
Well, the direction is to, I guess, I gather from there that Mr. Janik, in regards to this particular sign, will talk to the owners of the establishment.
I'll do
And-
that. I have a question.
Yes.
Mr. Janik, have you talked to the folks over there at the old Ace Hardware about the sign over there? Have you had an opportunity to do that, or we haven't done that yet?
No, all I've done is just made sure that it was that it met location and size relative to our code, but I certainly can go there and see if they'll move the sign, say, to the window instead of on the new sign itself. I can do that.
So we would actually have to put up with what's there right now, is that correct?
According to the code right now, yes.
Well, that's what I want changed, because that is not a very appealing sign, sitting there kittywampus up against another sign, and it just doesn't look right. So I make a motion that the
Not a motion, consensus will have to.
consensus, okay,
And your consensus is?
to direct the Planning Commission to hold a hearing to, come on, somebody help me.
Review.
Workshop? you mean?
Review the sign code relative to rental lease signs.
So you want the Plan Commission to have a workshop in regards to the signage that is put up for
Correct.
lease and for rent?
Correct.
And see what changes can be made, if any.
Correct.
Would that be correct?
Correct.
And that-
Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have that consensus? So does our consensus, trustee Lang?
Yeah, I don't see any problem with that.
Trustee Brady?
Yeah, okay.
Trustee here?
Sure.
And we know trustee Hine, trustee Vogel,
Sure.
and trustee Adiris, and myself, so Mr. Fondilas, if you would, and Mr. Janik, to have a workshop at the Plan Commission concerning the size, not so much the size, but the placement and condition of the sign that is put up, to see if there's any changes and what changes would be made, but will be beneficial to the people that are trying to rent the establishment or the store, but have it in a more uniform look. Thank you. Do I have anything else?
The bills.
Oh, I meant the, any official communications, none. We have the approval of the bills August 30th through September 12th.
So moved.
Motion made by trustee here,
Second.
second by trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hine?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Evascado?
Yes. The board will go into executive session. Trustee Hine asked for land acquisition, and that will be at 7:30. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Motion made by trustee Hine. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Lang. Roll call, please.
Trustee Brady?
Yes.
Trustee Hine?
Yes.
Trustee Argyris?
Yes.
Trustee here?
Yes.
Trustee Lang?
Yes.
Trustee Vogel?
Yes.
President Evascado?
Yes. The board will go into executive session at 7:30.
But we were going to have an executive session.
He just asked for tonight, trustee.